In the sixth circle, Dante speaks to the Epicurean heretic Farinata, valorous leader of one of the Florentine factions. They are interrupted by Cavalcante de Cavalcanti, the father of Dante's friend and fellow poet Guido Cavalcanti. He is dismayed to hear, as he thinks, that Guido is dead. Dante resumes speaking with Farinata, who prophesies Dante's exile from Florence and explains to Dante the limits of the knowledge of the damned. Now he proceeded down a secret track between the torments and the city wall. My teacher, with me close behind his back. "O highest peak of virtue," I began, "who lead me at your pleasure around these rings, speak to me. Let my wish be satisfied. The people who are lying in these graves, can they be seen? The lids have all been raised, and no one seems on guard." And he to me, "These will be bolted on the day of doom, when from the valley of Jehoshaphat the souls bring back their bodies to the tomb. On this side in his cemetery lies that Epicurus, with his followers, who put in that spirit dies when body dies. Now as for your request, soon it will be fulfilled for you in here. That, and another desire you silently withhold from me." "Good leader, if I hide my heart from you," said I do it only to speak less. That's what you've often said I should do." "Oh, Tuscan, you who speak with modest grace, alive and traveling through the city of fire, may it please you to pause here in this place. Your speech and accent make it clear to me you were born in the noble fatherland. I may have punished once too bitterly." This sound suddenly burst forth from inside one of the arcs of stone, and in some fear I drew a little closer to my guide. "What are you doing? Turn around," said he. "Look upon Farinata risen there. His full height from the waist up you will see." I had already fixed my gaze on his, who raised himself with great chest and great brow, surging as if he held all hell in scorn. And with his prompt and spirited hand, my guide pushed me toward him among the sepulchres, saying, "Make sure each word you utter counts." At the foot of his tomb I stood, and he looked at me for a little, till he asked, with some disdain, "Who were your family?" I, who was eager to obey him, did not hide the matter, but revealed it all, at which he raised his eyebrow just a bit and said, "They were bold enemies of mine, fierce to my party and my ancestors, for which twice over I sent them scattering." "If they were twice cast out, they twice returned," I thus responded, "and from every side. An art which yours, it seems, have not well learned." Then next to him, out of the lidless tomb, arose a shadow visible to the chin. I think he must have risen to his knees, and he looked around me, searched, as if he longed to see if someone else was there with me. And when this little hope was doused, he wept, and said, "If through this dungeon of the blind you go by means of genius at its height, where is my son? Why is he not with you?" And I haven't come here on my own. He who stands waiting leads me through this place, for one. Your Guido, maybe, held in scorn. I had read his name already by his words, and by the manner of his punishment, so I replied in full, but suddenly he drew upright and cried, What do you mean? You said he held. Isn't he still alive? Has the sweet sunlight ceased to strike his eyes? And when he noticed I was hesitant and didn't answer him immediately, he fell back and did not come out again. But he at whose request I'd stopped to speak, that man of great soul, never turned his neck or bent his trunk or changed his countenance, but went on speaking as he had at first. If they had badly learned that art that wrings more pain from me than does this bed of fire, yet 50 times the moon will not reburn that face of Hecate, the queen of hell. Before you find how hard that is to learn, as you hope to get back to the sweet world, tell me, why are those people pitiless against my side in every law they pass? Said I, the great rout and the massacre that blushed the river Arabia red with blood, that's why our temple sounds with such a prayer. He shook his head a little, with a sigh. There I was, not alone, nor would have moved with all the others had there been no cause, but when each man agreed to wipe away Florence from off the earth, I was alone, her sole defender in the sight of all. Ah, as your seed may ever hope for peace, I begged him. Please untie this knot for me which twists my judgment all in tangles here. If I've heard right, it seems that you can see what time will bring before it comes to pass. Not so for things that happen currently. As a man with bad vision, he replied. We dimly see things far away. So much splendor the sovereign Lord still shines on us. When things draw near, or happen, emptiness is all we see. If no one brings us news, we can know nothing of your human state. Now you can understand that evermore dead will be all our knowledge from this time. The future ends, and judgment shuts the door. Then I said, for I felt remorse's sting, will you now tell that soul who fell away, his son is still on earth among the living? If at first I was silent in reply, let him know I was caught in that mistake, dwelling upon the doubt you've solved for me. And now my teacher called me to return, so I besought the soul to hurry on and tell me who stood with him in that tomb. More, he said, more than 1,000 lie with me. Frederick II and the Cardinal about the rest, I have no more to say. At that he hid his form within. So toward the ancient poet I turned my steps and mulled the spirit's speech to me, his hostile words. And as we walked in silence, by and by, the poet said, why are you lost in thought? And so I satisfied him in reply, save in your memory everything you've heard against you. That wise man commanded me. And now listen to this, he said and pointed. When you shall come before the radiance of that sweet soul, whose lovely eye sees all from her you'll learn the journey of your life. Then straight to the left. He took his way. We left the walls and toward the center walked along a path that struck into a pit, whose loathsome stench rose to the very top.